Greetings, fellow creators. I'm Somonul, and this is Somonul Art. Today, we're diving into Maya to recreate Valkyrie's sword, step by step. This is my first time doing a video like this for the channel. I'm super excited about this. So I reached out to my good old friend, Animeruko. I asked him, man, can you come up with a weapon that I can make for this video? Out of all the weapons out there, he has a vast knowledge of anime and movies and games. He comes up with Valkyrie's sword. And I'm thinking, how many people know about Valkyrie profile, let alone Valkyrie's sword? I'm a huge fan of Valkyrie profile, so I'm super excited about this. Well, I love the idea of making this sword, and this is what we're going to be doing. So join me on this exciting adventure today as we get started on making Valkyrie's sword. So I've got here my reference that I'm going to be working with. I've got 3 different images. This is some reference from the original game, Valkyrie Profile 2. This right here is an actual 3D model of the game model that they used. So you can see the sword right here. And this is from a newer, updated game that they made a while back. I like the art for this mainly because it's so much cleaner to see. The old stuff is just a little bit blurry and grainy. I have an old reference game book, but I didn't feel like digging it out of the closet. That thing is buried somewhere in there, and oh boy, probably need some dynamite to get that thing out. We've only got a few colors to work with, which is a nice thing for a sword. We've got this neat looking red. We've got a golden pommel, and the hand guard is gold. And I'm hoping if we ever get around to doing some kind of a texturized rendering of this, we'll be able to recreate that as well. But for this video, we're only going to be doing the modeling. So I have a default scene in Maya right here. I've loaded a reference image that I've already made. I went through and studied those reference images that I have, and I drew up some blueprints for the sword that we're going to be using for this project. I have that set on a separate layer, so we'll just turn that on right now. There we go. I have this beautiful sword. A lot of this is going to be mirrored, so we're not going to have too much to model out on this one. This is actually going to be a fun basic project, I think, for a first-time project on this channel. This is going to be awesome. I've got it lined out with the line so I can snap to the grid. I've got a nice meaty blade here. The biggest challenge is going to be building the guard. There's a lot of detail on it, but it's not too crazy. So I think we can handle that pretty well. All right, the best way I think we could start on this, we'll just go to the crate here. Polygon cylinder. Can never go wrong with a polygon cylinder. Let's see here. The default settings. We'll go with 2. We don't need these caps, so we'll remove those. Perfect. Gotta remember that's in my front view. It's definitely going to be one of those fun projects. I can feel it already. If you've been with this channel for a long time, you know my favorite character from Valkyrie Profile is Hrist. So this is a little bit weird, just making Valkyrie's sword, rather than something for Hrist. But I did ask my friend, and I still think it's kind of a surprise that he decided to pick this. Especially, as I mentioned, he has such a vast knowledge of all kinds of other series and games. It's unbelievable. We'll zoom in a little bit more here on this. And we'll use some edge rings we'll add. Switch to vertices. We'll start to conform this to the shape. And I tell you, making these handles is always the Easy stuff right here. Looks like we need to add just one more loop edge there. Expand that just a little bit there. That up just slightly. That's looking pretty good. Let's get a good view of what we got going on here. All right, that's a start, right? Oh man. Switch back to my front view. Now, what is going to be the best way to make this pommel? I think we can use the revolve tool for this. So we'll make a CV curve. I'm not going to be able to snap that just yet, so we'll modify that later. Make that nice and flush. There we go. Beautiful. Now we can edit this curve a little bit. Then the X key to snap that in place. Turn that on, turn this on, and do our best to try and snap this to that polyvert there. And sometimes these will get out of whack, but it does not look like that happened in this case. So that's a good thing. I can go ahead and rotate this. Surfaces. Oh my goodness, I just realized I've got all this crazy stuff on here. We don't need a range slider. We don't need a time slider. There we go, that'll give us some more window room to work with. Surfaces, revolve. Oh boy, and I think this is the x-axis. We're going to want 20 segments because our cylinder has 20. Just in case this doesn't work out, we'll just hit the apply button. But it looks like it did. Beautiful. Now I don't like this pinching thing going on here, so we're going to edit that curve just a little bit more before we go on to that. So right about here. There we go. Now we can hit revolve. Boom. Just like that. That's going to make retopologizing that edge loop a lot better. There won't be such a pinching effect at the end. So now we got the easy stuff out of the way. Oh boy. Let's close that menu down. I don't need any more of the history on this. Probably should save too. Always want to save in Maya. I always remember back in Maya 3.5, you would have to save every other step, otherwise you would lose every other step. But it's come a little ways, but it is still prone to crashing, unfortunately. All right, just beautiful. So we got our handle all finished. We're going to move on to the next step, and that's going to be to make the blade. We're going to go in here to Polygon Primitives, look for the plane, find the plane. It's all blended in with the background here. We'll rotate that way, 90 degrees. We definitely do not need this many subdivisions. All right, so we got our plane. We got a 2x2 now. I actually want to make this 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that'll work. We'll have a nice evenly spaced blade then that way. Stretch this out, try and get the whole thing filled in here. Beautiful, just like that. And this thing's always a hair trigger sensitive, some of these controls. We'll bring that down, get that lined up with the line. Get that lined up, bring you in just a little bit. Scale that down again. Scale that down. Probably just do both at the same time. Be a little bit more productive that way. All right, what now? We got a bit of a problem because it definitely curves. We hit the subdivision key here, number 3, and you can see we're a little bit off target here because of that. So the best way to combat that, we'll just add another subdivision, kind of at the tip right there. We'll bring that out until we get a nice shape that is appropriate for what we're doing. We're going to take these little guys here, start to bring that in just a little bit. We'll bring that out just a little bit. We'll sharpen that more as it goes, but that should be good for now. Let's take a look in perspective mode at what we've got going on here. Yeah, but we still got to address the back here. Could probably leave it that way. Is there enough overlap? Nope, there was not. So we'll just take this little vert, slide it back ever so much there. So now we're totally encompassed into the handle right here. And this is good. All right. For this, I'm going to switch to vertex. I'm going to grab all the middle ones here. Going to go to lattice. We'll adjust it as we go. Definitely don't need 5. It's actually going to be really hard to tell what we're doing here. Let's change that to 3. I don't think that's the right one though. Nope. Wasn't that one either. Figures it's always the last one, right? Oh. Yeah, that's the one we need. So we'll dial these back down to 2. We'll change this to 5. So we should have 5 control points on our sword blade now. Beautiful. I don't have a reference guide for the top view, so we're just going to have to kind of wing this for a little while. But for now, So we'll go back to our reference real quick. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. This blade is pretty narrow. As you can see, there's the pommel, and then you've got a real skinny guard right here, and then the blade slips right in that. So it's not going to be anything too crazy. I did notice there's this little bit of gold right here on the pommel. That's cool. I don't see that in any of the other references. It's really hard to tell in this one because her hand is in the way. Glad that caught my eye though, because I kind of like that gold. So we'll add that in just a moment. But let's finish this blade up first. So we're back here. I'm going to drag these out. We'll make it a little bit thicker than the pommel. We'll take this guy. We'll bring that in just a little bit. We'll taper this in just a smidge. So we don't want it to be too crazy. Let's re-grab that one just a bit more. Yeah, I'm liking that better. And again, this is just to get the basic feel for this blade. Uh-oh. Figures I would have done that. Not to worry, because we can just disable that with our layer. Yeah, that's looking good. So I'm pretty happy with that. We're going to remove the history on that. Freeze transformations, and hopefully it's Z. Alright, we're back in action. Except for our normal faces are facing the wrong direction. We'll reverse those real quick. There we go. Beautiful. And freeze transformations again. Don't forget to save. Oh boy. We'll duplicate that. Flip it. We'll just combine both objects. Now we have one single object. We're going to select all the verts. And now we're going to merge these vertices. .01, we'll get rid of those. And now we have that crazy thing when we apply the subdivisions to it. Well, that don't look too good. Not good at all. So we'll undo that. We've definitely got to add some polylines to this bad boy. Let's go back into our front view. Turn our reference back on. We hit 3. You can see how crazy that just shrinks. Oh, that's unbelievable. So how can we address this? Well, for starters, we're going to have to add a new edge loop. But as you can see, it's going to create an edge loop way up here, and I do not like that. I want it to be kind of evenly spaced. So we're going to have to manually edit that. We'll just add one at the bottom here. See how that looks from the side view. We still lost quite a bit of material here, didn't we? Oh, you know what we could try? Let's undo that. All right, how to address this issue. Let me select these edges. Select these edges. Alright, so I've got all my edges selected. All we're going to do now is go up to the bevel tool. I'm going to edit mesh, click bevel. There we go. So for what is going on here? This is interesting. Is it doing that on the other side? No, it is not. Good old Maya. Merge. Well, I think that's going to put up a fight. We will address that in another way. The easiest way to do that is we're just going to delete half of it and mirror it over. You've always got to figure out some kind of workaround in Maya, because things don't always go as expected as they should. At least I've never known it to. Maya is pretty notorious for that. So I'm going to select my edge loop here. My edge loop tool. I'm going to add a new edge loop right here. I'm going to go into my channel attribute editor, excuse me. And I'm going to look for that edge loop that we just added. Oh, poly split ring right there. We'll change this to 0.5. Now I know I have it exactly in the center, unless Maya decides that it didn't want to put it in the center. You never know. I'm going to go to my faces, make sure I'm selecting the, what in the world? Make sure I'm selecting the correct face. There we go. This mode here, so we know it's this side. And we'll select all of that. And it looks like it wanted to select a little bit more than what I wanted it to. Hold the Shift key. And now we'll delete this. So that trouble area is completely gone. We'll just simply do what we did the last time. Duplicate that with Shift D. We're in the Z axis. -1. Go up here to Mesh. Combine that. Go to the vertices once again. Select everything. Then we're going to go to the Merge tool. Make sure that's still 0.001. Click Merge. And now, I got my fingers crossed. Oh, look at that. Just beautiful. It worked. Let's turn this reference material off. Nice. Now, let's go back to our reference material. Take a look at this sword. So it does have a really sharp tapered line right here. We'll want to make sure we add that in. Alright, and to do that, I'm almost tempted to try that bevel tool just once more, because that would be the perfect tool we need for this. What if we go to the modeling toolkit here, hit bevel, go to the attribute editor, bevel tab, how many segments do we want? 2. That'll get us our middle center line back. And now, let's turn this off. We should have a nice, beautiful dividing line there. Our blade, however, lost a lot of its sharpness. Let's go ahead and address that real quick. Doesn't really need it too bad, but I do want to add a little bit sharpness to it. So I've got these two verts here. I'm just going to drag them out just very subtly. Well, that should do it. I don't want to go too sharp because if I do, when you render it, it's not going to add a really nice effect when you're rendering out, when you're trying to cast the lighting. So I try to keep that in mind. But you can go as sharp as you want. Uh-oh. I almost forgot. It's time to save again. Alright, so we got the easy stuff out of the way. It's time to move on to making that handguard. We'll jump back into our front view. Channel editor. Make sure we turn our layer back on with the good reference material. Ooh, and I just noticed this blade needs a little bit more extra kick to it. We'll add a little bit of scale to it. And just a small hair of scale in that direction. The x-axis. It's weird it shrank like that. But we're back in action. It's a good thing for reference material, right? I'm going to put this blade on a separate layer. I'll give it... I was going to go with gray, but probably won't even be able to see it with the background, with the light brown. And then we will go with the pommel here, and we'll assign that to its own layer. And we'll make that this maroonish color. I did really quickly want to add that little gold wrap to it, which looked like it was right here. We could probably do that really quickly. We'll add an extra edge loop. Switch to our face mode. And we'll extrude that out. Extrude again. Edge mode here. Bring that in just a little bit to give it a nice beveled look. Add an extra edge loop to the top here. Get that nice and sharp look. Beautiful. And now we'll just get rid of these faces here that we do not need anymore. Whoa. Did not mean to select the whole thing. Make that grow out a little bit. And delete. Boom. I want to add one more edge loop here. Let's cause that to grow out just a little bit there. Bring that in just a bit more. Okay. We'll worry about the rest of the details once we get that handguard built for it. And how we're going to tackle that now. Well, for a while. So looking at our reference material right here, I see about 3 shapes. So we're going to use those 3 shapes to model our handguard from. The first one's going to be a little bit tricky because it's kind of like a cone. But the rest of it, we can get by with using the plane tool. So we'll set that up real quick. Got our new plane floating here. And we'll rotate that 90 degrees so it's flat. We'll change these to 2 again. We'll duplicate this. We'll set that one over there. We'll get rid of the top half. I do not need that. Go into just basic wireframe mode. There's no going back on this now. Right about there looks good. Stretch that up to here. Let's take a look at our reference material. It's pretty flat with the blade. It's going to be really cubed. That line goes into that cone. we'll do that. So let's get this all lined up here. It's flush with there. Really need a hotkey for this edge loop tool. Probably could go to my toolkit and make it a little bit faster, but we'll just do it for the now like this. Add a few more edge loops in key areas. Wow. Don't want to get too crazy with these edge loops just yet. The goal is always to make it as simple as possible. Use the smooth tool to see where we're at with this. Kind of bring some of these lines in. So we'll select this edge. I think this is going to be the best way to do this, is just to extrude a new face out this direction here. We'll do the same. And then we'll just pause right there before we get too carried away. Make sure this is working. And it looks like it is. So we'll extrude that. Right about there. We'll extrude again. Now we'll just finish up the whole basic outline of it. Now looking at the reference to this actually has a bit of a curve to it. So you can see it's definitely got a curve, goes flat. It's really hard to tell there. This one kind of has like a roundish curve. So we'll see if we can follow along with that. So now we get to use a lot of edge loops. Set one right there. There. Let's see, that should be enough. We'll get these all lined up now. Going to need that. All right. Let's go here and add a cylinder. We'll vert snap it here. Reduce its size. 90 degrees. Put that in the center. And we will expand this up just a little bit there. So this cylinder that I'm using, I'm actually going to use it as a reference. It's not going to be part of the model. We'll wind up deleting it once we're done. But it's going to be super helpful when it comes time to getting this round curvature that we need. There we go. And maybe back this one out just a little bit there. Beautiful. All right, let's add a few more edge loops to this. I'm not going to worry about this section just yet because I'm going to be having some going up and down. But right now I'm just trying to get the ones that we really need here. Let's turn my edge reference off so I can actually see this a little bit better. Oh, that is a huge difference. Now we can spread this out more. Some nice even distribution. There we go. So that's going to be my troublesome area, but that'll be fine. Once we add some volume to it, it will no longer look like that. Uh-oh. I think I might have vert snapped that in the wrong place. Let's try that again. There we go. And that's how you do a quick round shape. Let's take a look and make sure everything is still looking good right there. And it does look pretty good. Just in case I need this, I'm not going to delete it yet. But I'm going to click Control H just to hide it. See it's still living in here. Let's rename this template C for cylinder. Just in case we got to go back to that. And don't forget to save. Wow. It's quite a while. You're doing pretty good, Maya. You're doing pretty good. Let's take a look again. Turn our reference back on. We need to address that before we continue. Probably add one more of these right here. There we go. It's pretty sharp. Ooh. One more sharp thing to add right here. Not too crazy yet. We'll address that later. All right. We've got this all centered out. Click Save. Let's go take a look at our reference material once again. So we've got this unique cross pattern here. That looks like an extrude to me, as does this little shape right here. And then that is going to be... And now, before that, make sure we save. We will add our first edge loop going this direction. That looks about right. And then we'll add one right here. We'll turn that back on and be completely amazed at how bad this looks right now, but it does need a little bit of work. Bring that up, make that look even. Bring this down, make that look a little bit even. And this is a hot mess right here. Let's bring this out. That one we'll leave kind of there. Don't want to get too crazy because, again, that's going to be a solid gold piece right there. But I do want some uniform behavior going on here with these. Bring that up to about right there. Good, that looks good. That does not, though. Okay, that's part of the... Okay, we don't have to worry about that. That guy, though. Let's give him some room to breathe. All right. And we'll zoom in a little bit more and take a look at our reference. So it's got the same thing going on right over here. So after that big line, okay, that's making some sense now. We'll get this guy. And as you can tell, that tip there is definitely going to be a trouble area. But I think we can do this by moving that. Let's show this off again. Turn our reference material off. So we've got this flat surface going on right here. And we cannot have that. So I don't want to snap it to that line there because I've got two to work with. So we're going to have to go with the best that we can. I would actually prefer it if we had one more straight edge loop for the center. So I might leave some room just for that. Would that work? Or can we just do it this way? You know what? I think that's going to work. So we've got... How even does that look? No, I do want that extra edge loop. I was hoping we wouldn't have to add another one, but that does not look to be the case. So we'll add our edge loop right about in the center there. Let's hope it didn't destroy too much. Oh no, that's not too bad at all. We might get rid of some of those edges. But we need that to extend out and that to definitely come in. That'll allow us to kind of evenly space this out a little bit more. It was just really at the extreme. So let's quickly block this in. For this, could probably do equal distance. Right about there. Let's reset that tool so the next time we use it, we don't wind up shooting ourselves in the foot. That happens quite a lot. We'll add one more edge loop here. Vertex. Bring you out just a little bit. Then we'll bring that out a little bit. There we go. I think that was the most challenging part of the whole project so far. We got our other plane there. Almost forgot we left that there. Whew. All right. Let's give this an extrude now. We're going to save first. Actually, I think I'm going to save it under a different project name. There we go. Now we can extrude. Control E. Bring that out. I'm not going to bring it out too much because we're going to mirror this over again. Top view, faces. Select all that. Unselect that. Make sure we got the faces we want to delete. They look good. So long. Those are gone. Extrude this inward. How crazy do we want to go? I gotta remember that that blade needs to go through this, so we don't want to go too wild. I think that's too deep. We'll go right there. That looks good. This chain of faces we do not need either, so we can delete these. And we'll just grab that. Hit the extrude again. And we'll go to our top view. Revert snap this so we have it evenly spaced with the rest of the extrude that we made earlier. And we'll clean up our geometry just a little bit here. Delete that. This is looking really good. Uh-oh. We actually messed up, didn't we? I know somebody. Let's make sure we select our edges here. Go here. Double click. All right, I think we've got everything. So we'll extrude that now. We'll go to our top view. Wireframe, and you can see we extruded too deep that time. We'll just vert snap that to our first extrude. And we'll do a little bit of modeling cleanup here. Get rid of that. It's probably going to be wild when we look at it like this, but it's kind of good to see. It's actually looking pretty nice. We'll add an edge loop around here. That'll tighten things up some. See what's going on. This is actually going to be pretty easy. We'll go with a cylinder for this component. Bring it into view. Rotate it around so we can actually see what we're doing. Change that to 90 degrees. We'll shrink it down a little bit more. So you can see that's a good sized circle. How to do this, we're going to add some caps to it. Probably about 3. Yeah, that's good. Make sure we're selecting the correct one we want. We'll try and make this a little evenly spaced as we can. Go to perspective mode. Let's chop this off in just a moment. We definitely don't need all that. Let's see here, how deep in can we go? Switch to our faces, unselect, delete. Let's see here. Grow that out, Control E to extrude. But as you can see, we can't go in too deep. Oh, actually we can. We still have to move this shape in. We're good. We'll get that figured out in just a moment. Add an edge loop here. We'll add another. Uh-oh. Definitely not want one there. That would be really bad. We'll add one right there. Right there. Beautiful. Now we can move this down just a little bit. We could actually move it down kind of far. We don't need this extra detail here. That's inside. So delete that out. And just like that, we've got our nice, beautiful circle shape. Let's make sure it lines up with our reference material. And it does not. We need to make that a little bit bigger. For some reason, that side. Well, we'll just go with it. Don't want it to be too crazy big, though, because now we got to drop this back down. Let's check our other reference material. Okay, so that thing's going to overlap. We don't have to worry too much about that. We can actually press that down further. And now for the last panel that we've had sitting here for a long time. Let's hope it's still somewhere in the project. Oh, there it is. Now this is going to be one crazy shape just because of the pattern we have on the inside. Almost wonder if it isn't better to rotate it into like a diamond shape at 45 degrees and try and do something with that. Let's bring that in. Yeah, you know what? Let's give this a try. This might actually be the best way to address this. Shrink you a little bit more. And it's going to make it a little bit confusing. We'll go ahead and hit the vertex mode. Right there. Right there. So grab those. I'll actually bring this out just a little bit, just because it's going to have that bizarre shape. Yeah, this is going to be a wild, fun time to figure this one out. We got to get rid of that 45-degree angle, though. So let's go ahead and freeze transformations. That will allow us to scale this up and down. There we go. Beautiful. We'll just bring that in. The outside does not really need it, but it does have a bit of a bow to it. So we're gonna puff it out just a bit. See what we got going on here with the smooth. Yeah, I can live with that. All right, we're gonna have to add a lot of curves to this, but I want to isolate this. So all I can see is just that. There we go. That was just getting really distracting. Very distracting. All right, so to do this, probably the poly split edge tool here may be the best option we have at our disposal at the moment. Can bring one here. Definitely need to bring one there. Why are you not letting me connect you over here, my friend? Well, let's see what happens when we hit enter. Oh, I was in the Poly Smooth tool. Goodness. Let's go ahead and delete one of these nodes here. Don't think we need that one, but we need that one. Okay. Almost thought the tool was bugged there for a moment. Let's continue on. We'll add one there. Oh, look at the hits, it's working so much better now. We're going to have two triangles. We'll get rid of that by just adding some extra random verts there. There we go. We'll bring those down. We'll bring that down again. All right, that is looking good. Let's go ahead and, so I don't lose my selection, we'll hide the image plane for the moment. Change to perspective view. Let's evenly add these out. We could go to this corner. But I don't think that's going to be enough. This one's going to get pretty dense, this face. Doesn't have to be anything too crazy though. And similar to the other side. We lucked out with this being pretty straight edged, so it doesn't have to be too wild. Oh, what is that? That is weird. This is one of those weird things that happens in Maya sometimes. And again, I may have used the tool too many times in that area. All right, so we got that addressed. Here's another problem area. Delete that. Oh boy, that is wild. We'll address that in just a moment, but for now, let's make sure we save. Definitely always want to remember to save. I probably lost track of how many times I've mentioned that in this video. And we will hit the extrude. Actually, let's go this direction. We'll select all this beautiful detail right in here. So we'll just extrude here. Just go a little bit in because we do have to bevel it. Want to make sure we have that correct. And we'll just go a little bit more in because it's not too deep of a bevel for this one. We'll remove these edges that we do not need. Go ahead and delete those. We can delete these edges. We do not need those. And we can delete the entire bottom. So let's be careful how we do this. Line that up there and attack it from the other side. Make sure all we have is selected is that, and we do. So long, my little friends. And what do we got for that? Man, that's a rough mess. Let's add an edge loop right here. That'll clean that up. I don't know if we can add one there. There we go. We've got our nice, beautiful shape now. The big question is that deep enough? And then we have these other problems that we need to address. And this is always fun. So we'll go ahead and go here. So if we don't address this, we're going to get all kinds of weird things when it comes time to render. That is okay like that. We'll go across there and seal that up. There we go. Cross. 1, 2, 3, 4 faces. Much better. We'll add a triangle there. We'll add a triangle there. That looks a lot better. Again, I still don't think we have this deep enough though, unfortunately. But we can address that. Oh yeah, what in the world? We hardly made that. I did not get cut out as well as I wanted it to. Alright, I believe that'll select it. W, let's bring that in just a little bit more. And we'll add one more edge loop. Hope that's not too many. Okay, that looks a little bit weird right there with the shadowing. What is, uh-oh. What have we got going on here? Okay, I see I've got some edge loops that I missed here. We'll add a few more there. One right there. That clean that up. Much better. All right, we're in the home stretch finally. I can't believe it. We've made it this far. Let's get this attached. Whoa, don't forget to save. Let's get rid of that tool. We don't want to accidentally poke more pivots into it. Bring this up here a little bit. So where that bad geometry is, we have to put one of those circles here. duplicate that because I do want to reuse it. Shrink it down. Press it in there. This guy needs to go in a little bit more. We'll delete history. Go to our deformer tool again and one more lattice. Oops. And now we're just working with that fine edge there. We'll bring it inward. It's about even. And might as well just delete all history. Oh my goodness, all we gotta do now is grab these two guys here. Insert. Make sure these pivots are right here. Locked. Wait a minute here, what's going on with this guy? Oh, got two of them selected. And we'll do that. So let's make sure both my objects are locked. Nope, something weird happened to that one again. I had a feeling. So now, what in the world? That's like I hit undo. That is weird. All right, Maya. Okay. Just like that. Now, freeze transformations. X -1 on the z-axis. We'll freeze transformations on that too. All right, and there we go. Valkyrie sword. Is this cool or what? Oh man, this is awesome. I can't wait to texture that. I'm gonna have to do that in another video though, but I think that's definitely a project for down the road. This is so cool. I did a little bit of house cleaning. As you can see, I named some of the components. I got to finish that up later on. That's definitely important, especially when you get into animating or any kind of dynamics. You want to make sure you know what everything's named, so it helps to name things as you go in the process rather than like, what is that P-sphere for when you've got 20 of them? But we've got this project finished, guys, and I just want to give you guys a special thanks for just watching this. This is my first video for doing this. It means a lot. I really appreciate the support on this. It was a lot of fun for me, and I hope it was a lot of fun for you. And I want to give my good friend another shout out. Thank you so much, Animeruko, for deciding to go with this project, or at least challenging me with this project. I hope you learned something from watching this too. I know you're interested in those Blender tutorials more than Maya, but I decided to go with Maya on this one. And if you did find this video useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button or give it a thumbs up. And please help this channel grow, my friends. All right, my friends. Till next time, and happy modeling.